everybody. I am here, and it is time to continue on with the cheese. So, I should probably explain this first. So, basically, the wheel only came rather recently, but the concept for the cheesing is basically I spin this wheel and it gives me a VTuber to cheese. Now, if you're wondering why this is standby, hello Alpha Wolf 11, what the fuck? With some buns. Ham and cheese with some buns. But yeah, there's only one VTuber who is on standby, and that's because he's having his debut. He's debuting his new model soon. So I'm waiting for that to happen. And before I draw him wearing a cheesehead hat. Currently I've done 12 so far. And I like to mention that a good chunk of these VTubers are 18 plus or at the very least 16 plus as with their content. At least for those who have But yeah, so if you are not at the very, at least it kind of depends. But yeah, I shall spin this wheel. And by the way, I've shuffled these names into oblivion. This was the first one that I put on the list. And I have a single mutual on here. Sorry, Mass. But yeah, let's spin this wheel and figure out who is going to be cheesed. Oh. It's Yuzu. Well. Now I'm gonna move my stuff around, including my chat, to the left side of my main screen. Press end. And the reason why I'm not directly putting them like in front of my drawing screen is pretty simple, actually, because if for when I have to name the layers, because that's what I do. Chat kind of obstructs the layer. There's a little bit. And I do have all the references. So I'm going to use this one. And I literally made a custom preset. Yeah, mostly because these are made in the kind of resolution that I use for like making Discord emojis, for example. 500 pixels by 500 pixels at a resolution of 600 in DPI. But yeah. I'm going to hide the browser window. Oh, for now. Remove Yuzu from the list. And I'm going to have some music playing in the background so that it's not just silence. But yeah, let's begin in the cheesing of Yuzu Lemon. Back into the standard color set. And the reason why I didn't make it transparent is for the coloring part, because this is a relatively neutral gray. So, especially before I color the line art, I have to make sure that, you know, the colors, there aren't any gaps. And of course, when I color the line art, I have to do it again. So, let's make a sketch folder. And, okay. I think I'm going to use this expression as a reference. Let's make this a little smaller. Center a line. Yeah, spooky indeed. I mean, it is getting close to Halloween. Let's erase that. Hold on, I'm going to move chat. And there we go. Standard way to start. I mean, Michael's is already, he's starting to sell. Well, they've started selling Halloween stuff since like August, like early August. Circle. So this expression is the one I'm probably going to use as a reference of Yuzu. I don't really have plans for Halloween. Oh, I should probably move my camera to where my tablet is. Okay. finally turned the light on for it. Readjust. There we go. But yeah, I don't really have plans for Halloween. Mostly because, like, 2 days after Halloween, and I have to attend a convention. The reason keyword is have, mostly because I'm, working at the con. But I will try my best to make a late night stream because at the start of once October starts, I have all 4 of my classes, so I will be very, very busy here, and which means I won't be able to stream a lot between October, November, and like the first week of December, because I'll have a full class load. Luckily, as far as I know, only one of my classes so far. But I'm gonna make chat a little smoother. There we go. But yeah. Which kind of sucks because if I could be able to stream like during my semester on a kind of semi-regular basis so that I can get to affiliate quicker, I would take that chance. However, the main issue that I have is that, oh fuck, I didn't press record. Oh well. But yeah, I have planned. If I was able to stream without it kind of interfering too much with my college, because I don't want to fail any of my classes. Especially because I have plans to transfer next year, well, technically next fall, to a 4-year university so that I can get more classes in my major in graphic arts and possibly have a minor in creative writing. Which, given that I'm currently at a community college, it's a little difficult to do that because I haven't had the opportunity to take any creative writing classes. They do have them in their curriculum, but they were not available at all, even back when I started last year. But yeah. And of course, I plan on attending or just generally doing my entire college career online, because I have a pretty good sized setup. I have a lot of things that I kind of have to bring, and I don't know, especially because I have my drawing tablet, which obviously I'm going to need for assignments. And in my art classes, I need to make sure that I, will have the space on my possible desk to kind of fit everything. I mean, also, thank you, Alpha Wolf, for the compliment. But this is kind of just the beginning. And this kind of thing here, even though User Lemon doesn't really have a you know, from what I can tell from her model, she does not have human ears. Just the animal ears, but I don't know which animal. It's probably a fox, but I'd rather not, you know, make a completely wrong guess. And of course, these are just for the ear placements. However, let me change the color. When I was scrolling Pinterest one time, I saw this image, like a reference for like how to do animal ears in kind of a sort of realistic way. So because the ear is generally around here, it kind of just from the eyebrow to where the eyes end, and kind of just like that. However, I want to at least be a little faithful to Yuzu's current model. Oh yeah. And now the face. But yeah. Hold on. Is there a reference that kind of shows off her eyes more? Okay, so there's that. So her eyelash is thicker at the end that's closest to where a human ear would go. And of course, the kind of diamond-shaped pupil. But it's elongated. And this is kind of the main lash. You know, the primary eyelash. And now to bring up this expression again. One lash right there, another over here, and there we go. Alpha, I'm not accepting commissions right now. I'm actually creating my own VTuber model in Live 2D. And, however, there is, of course, the fact that I made this model in VRoid Studio, which is completely free, and starting last year, or definitely during the updates before I started, back in 2022, who they kind of made the process of making a VTuber, her model, in the VRoid Studio a lot more streamlined. And of course, this does lead to some limitations, like you can't really do a lot of toggles. Thank you, computer, very cool. But yeah. So oh yeah. Undo. I would at least be able to keep the eyebrows, but kind of like that. Yeah, making models, especially in like if you're like doing live to, if you plan on having a live 2D VTuber model, which is what this model is. It takes a lot of time. Hell, I literally started making my live 2D model, sometime last year actually. And only now am I in the home stretch where it's almost ready for starting the animation of it in live 2D. Which basically, live 2D models are they basically use a type of animation called puppeting, where basically take a creature, an autism creature. So certain parts are drawn on different layers, probably on different folders. That ideally are labeled. So basically, hold on, the autism creature isn't really a good example. So basically, if you kind of take a headshot model, the most you really need to animate, hit and draw are the face, which is basically the most important part of a VTuber model. Well, because the more expressive they are, or the more appeal they have. However, you also need software to kind of track the face. And sometimes there are animal ears. Sometimes there are horns. But usually there's the face, the head, which has to be animated so that it can turn from left to right, to up and down. And then there is the hair. And I know this looks pretty basic, but But if you want to make a live 2D model, but don't want to put in a lot of work with creating a bunch of different moving parts, especially if you're using the free version, which has limited parameters to begin with. And hold on, I'm going to check the current cost of live 2D. Wait, no. So, if you're, yeah, it is pretty fun, because, and it's also a learning experience. But, so for like a monthly plan, and the price is converted from yen, because this is a program originally made in Japan. It is directly converted, and basically, so for a 3-year plan, you can have a student discount, which is, I think, is pretty cool. However, the cheapest plan is the annual plan, which the first year, which, by the way, hey, the annual plan gets cheaper because every year you get a yearly discount, which makes it cheaper and cheaper, at least for like general user or small scale enterprises, which the site clarifies as annual revenue less than 1 million Japanese yen. We know 10 million. But at today's rate, the monthly bill for the annual plan is $8.09, which is very cheap. So if you want to use Live 2D Cubism, like if you want to animate VTuber models, which it will be a learning curve, because the only animation I've really done so far is traditional frame-by-frame animations with some tweening elements. It's because I'm a little lazy. But yeah, they're pretty cheap. But anyway, let's go to the hair. Now, I'm not going to do the ears right now, because, so, if I import image, I go to my drawings and I do, let's use this as an example. So if I, for example, place this over here, because there are animal ears, they will end up being a little squashed in order to fit the hat. Therefore, I tend to do it kind of last, and on a layer that's in front of the cheese hat, so that it, looks a little realistic. And of course, I have several PNGs of cheese hats that I can use. Hold on, let me take a sip of my water. But yeah, I have a few different cheese he has to choose from. But so I'm going to use this hair as a reference. So there is kind of a part here. Oh, that's too close to the red. And let's go yellow. So there's kind of a part in the middle where it kind of starts. And of course, then these are layered. I assume these are, oh, not assume, they are layered on top of kind of the main veins. Let's make them at least somewhat close in height. And then so there is a yellow streak in this hair. Kind of over here. And it kind of conceals some of her eyelash. And the little cowlick / antenna over here, like the ahoge. I'm kind of going to omit that because it's going to be covered by the cheese. So it's kind of a you know what? I'm gonna do the shorter hair here for this one. crosshatch. Touch the black parts of that. Thank you for playing in the hold on. Now I have to figure out how to do the ears. So allow me to import this cheese. I'm going to turn down the opacity. Move it a bit. And of course, this will kind of course, I will probably have to like layer the veins above of the rest of the, get cheesed. And now I can start the line art. Turn down the opacity, change it to black. And I'm going to start off with the face. Hold on. I'm going to make this a vector layer, actually. And this is kind of for the ease of, you know, doing like line adjustments. Hold on. I'm gonna have to make her bald for a brief moment. Mostly so I can kind of get the eye right. And of course, you can merge these vector lines, which is what I plan on doing. Not font. No, not simplify. Connect. Oh, thank you for the contribution to the stream deck. I won't really have much use for it right now, as my Vtuber model hasn't really it's still in the art process, but once I when I make it in Live 2D, that's where the stream deck comes in for the toggles, because there's a bunch of toggles. Well, I say a bunch, but in reality, there's only like a few to really note of. So, for example, the drawing hand, and there's a secret toggle, which once I reach affiliate, and also when my VTuber model is, done and I've done my debut, there will be a secret toggle, which will be secret until it's redeemed. Yeah, it's pretty interesting indeed, and it kind of connects to the lore of my VTuber. How, you may ask? Well, the lore for my VTuber avatar, aka Ashlyn, is kind of complicated. Because it I'm gonna do the top banes, not faster, vector. So basically, allow me to explain. So basically, my VTuber avatar is technically the reincarnation of a kind of fire spirit ghost. Basically, in her past life, she was killed in a fire, and it kind of roamed for 300 or so years before her making a kind of handshake contract with a fairy to kind of give her the opportunity to move on and kind of have a smooth process to transition into her next life. And the fairy, he is in the form of a cat. And that cat is what represents chat. But, yeah. It's kind of complicated, but I'm currently in the process of writing the second part of that lore. It's kind of like halfway. But yeah. Yeah, his is, you can probably interpret it as sort of an isekai. Redo that. But yeah, it is kind of an isekai. But only if you can really interpret the reincarnating into your next life, so you can kind of have the opportunity to grow up and become an adult. Well, because you didn't get that chance in the life where you died, because there's complicated reasons. It's basically, but yeah. Vector. Yeah. I mean, trucks didn't exist in the 1700s. But, yeah. And eventually I will remember to link my lore. Because I actually rewrote it. I did post the original version of my lore for some time ago. Back in earlier this year, I believe. Because around August or so, that's kind of when I made the original concept for Ashlyn, which is the name of this VTuber avatar. But yeah, it felt a little too short for me. There were parts that I could have expanded upon. And so I did. I made it kind of a multi-parter. And if you look at my follower goals, my 500 one has changed. So that goal is now, originally that was for my debut of my Live 2D avatar, but it's getting closer and closer to when I'm getting closer and closer to getting it done. So that, and now instead of the 500 follower goal being the debut, because that's kind of approaching pretty quickly, depending on when, because I have plans to finish the model rig, like start it and finish it before my spring semester starts up in January. Like during the week after my birthday, because my birthday is very early in the year. But yeah, and of course I do have to like make the actual presentation for the debut. Because if you're not familiar with his VTuber debuts, especially those are words, those who are part of agencies, they're the first time you really see them. Their first streams are usually their debut streams, where basically there's a presentation where they kind of introduce themselves. What do they like? What do they dislike? And some of the lore behind their VTuber avatar. So yeah, and I've had my presentation, like the concept for it, like I have a Google Doc for like some of the content that my debut presentation will contain. Like a part where I kind of show off the model and stuff. But yeah, once that kind of happens, well, it's definitely going to happen after my 20th birthday, because my birthday's on January 5th, and if even if I have my avatar ready for use, I have to make the presentation for, the debut. Also, thank you for the boop. Yeah. But yeah, my birthday is very early in the year. Actually, it's within the 12 days of Christmas. But I know that most people don't really celebrate all 12 days. I know my family does not. Mostly because we're not that super religious. But we do celebrate Christmas. And that usually means I don't really get a bunch of presents around my birthday. Maybe because it's very much too close after her Christmas is for people to kind of have enough money for, the gifts. Which, honestly, I'm kind of fine with. And while presents are nice, also, thank you, Alpha Wolf, for following. But, yeah. I lost my train of thought. And now, color. Hold on, I'm going to have the top lanes up. I'm going to start off with that. Hold on, let me... Two and a half. Yeah. Okay. No, that's not what I meant to do. So, I believe this part is where I have to color with the darker part. And this is kind of I'm gonna change that color so it's a little brighter. Also, hello, Arcros. How are you? How is uni for you? Who faring? I appreciate the lurk. Yeah, because it's 3 a.m. for you. Oh, uni started for you. I mean, mine has already started. It's nearly been a month, actually, since my uni classes have started. I guess it's going quote-unquote great. Yeah. And I hope you have a good rest, our crows, and that your assignments go sorta well, as they are capable of going. No, not that. That. Oh. Right. Gotta close that off. Eraser over there. But yeah. Luckily, for me, I, won't really have the school on my birthday. And wanna hear a funny story? So back when I was in middle school, which, holy fuck, that was a long time ago. Oh my god. I'm getting old so quickly. Yeah. But anyway. So back when January 5th, 2018. It was my 14th birthday. I was in 8th grade in middle school. And I wanted to spend... And it was a snow day. Which meant... And school was canceled because there was too much snow. And I wasn't able to really spend that time with friends. And out of the two friends that I had in middle school. Well, because I didn't really have many friends because half the time I didn't have my autism diagnosis. I didn't get my diagnosis until I was 13. So I think this is kind of a base color for the eyes. So I basically spent my 14th birthday shoveling up snow because I was so bored, because back then I wasn't really much of a gamer. This was around the time the Switch came out, but I'm not sure if my brother was kind of hogging it at the time, and because this was within the years after Breath of the Wild came out, after the Switch, when the Switch was new. So basically, I just shoveled my snow out of board. Shoveled the snow because I was bored. Yeah, it is fun enough. But yeah. And of course, every few minutes I had to go back inside my house. That's because my nose would start to run and get kind of clogged. Because, the cold makes your nose a little gunky. But yeah. So I spent my 14th birthday just at my house. And my dad tried to make cupcakes, but it was a muffin recipe, so it ended up tasting bad. It tasted so bad. Sad bro. But yeah, we didn't really have a good time. Him, especially me. Because even though I was a birthday girl, I couldn't really celebrate it at all. All with it's like 2 friends. Actually, it was probably just 1, if I even really had any at all, because in 6th grade I had like some friends. And then in before 7th grade started, one of my friends moved away, and that friend I still talk to this day because we were in Girl Scouts. Actually, in fact, she got me into Fire Emblem back in the day. Okay, so yeah, and I also had one friend. And she's half Japanese, which I couldn't tell from her appearance alone. Only a little bit, because she inherited a bunch of her dad's genes. But yeah. I mean, at least in like high school, I was able to like kind of make connections with some classmates of mine, because I was in a special program referred to as an academy. So, allow me to explain it. So basically, the academies are kind of special curriculums, where it depends on which academy you're part of. What the hell? The lines aren't lining. Oh, I was transparent. But yeah, basically, these academy programs allowed you to kind of pursue something more specialized. I, for example, went to one that was a culture academy. Basically, where we could learn about other cultures and learn languages and do foreign exchange programs and like to our sister cities. Like we could go to the Philippines or Germany. And I remember one time, and I'd like to mention that I graduated high school in 2022. So during the kind of tail end of my sophomore year, the pandemic started. So for like a year or two, we couldn't do any of those foreign exchange things because of all the lockdowns and protocols and safety stuff. Which meant I never got the chance to go abroad. Even if I could. Even if I really wanted to. Especially because the summer before, back in like 2019, I had jaw surgery, so I couldn't really go to any of the over the summer or exchange programs. And it's because, my jaw was wired shut, and I'd have to kind of, even if I wanted to come to like any of the places like to Northern Ireland, I believe. Or it was the Irish Republic. I don't remember, but I remember it was one of our sister cities. Because we have quite a few. Sorry, my computer's being weird. But yeah, I never had the opportunity to go abroad with those programs because it's only just recently now, like during the previous school year, because I've been in college since last year, like the 2022-2023 school year. Here they've started up these kind of exchange programs again. But because I've graduated and I can't really attend these, and I know that several of my classmates, because we have a group chat, they've expressed their disappointment at the time. But now we're kind of in college, and one of them is actually, there's like two of them who are doing college abroad as far as I know. There's only one that I really know, but I'm pretty sure there's another one who was not in that group chat, who did go abroad, for university. But yeah. Even though it was kind of disappointing not being able to have the opportunity to kind of go abroad, even if I wanted to, I have quite a lot of time. I'm in the future, especially because I'm, because I plan on making like a few games in the future, and especially if I'm like invited to an award ceremony in like somewhere that isn't in the US, if it's in like Canada or in the UK or in Germany, that will be kind of an opportunity for me to kind of travel abroad, but not right now. No, not while I'm getting my education and then my major. But yeah. Well, kind of on the wholesome side. Not like anything super dark, but probably like visual novels. But there is one game that is kind of loosely inspired off of Stardew Valley. That I plan on making, which is probably going to be the most complicated game I'll ever make. I think so, yeah. Because it's an RPG, like a farming simulator kind of game. And I wanted, but there's significantly more magic. going to be available on like Steam. And for any demos, probably like itch.io. Or like just kind of smaller games. And I'm not sure how much it'll cost, because I plan on like doing as much of it by myself as I can. Like all the writing, any potential coding that needs to be done. And ideally I want to make it kind of codeless. But of course there might be times where I have to, you know, write a few lines of code, especially when it comes to like the portrait sprites. But yeah, game development is pretty complicated, but at least I know a little bit of HTML. Actually, I don't think HTML really goes with like the coding involved for games unless CSS. Hold on, I can look it up. Oh, so you can code a game with HTML. I mean, Flash no longer really exists. It's now because of Adobe. So you can make games with HTML5. And you can kind of convert Flash games to HTML5 as well. That was the eraser. So the thing about Unreal Engine is, depending on how much your game makes, you have to pay royalties to Unreal Engine's creators. Depending on how much your game makes, which, as you know, someone who I'd like to keep as much money that I make from my games for myself, because I want to have the opportunity to get some of my cousins and gifts that they might not be able to usually get, especially my younger cousins. Like, kinda, you know, especially one of my art cousins, is because, you know, who is she? But yeah. So, I plan on picking a game engine that doesn't really require me to pay royalties if somehow my games end up being that successful. Because I'm not really sure how much I will really make. Like if I, you know, end up becoming a full-time game developer and VTuber and writer and artist. especially if I'm like a very small team, where it's basically just me. So yeah. And especially if I like end up making it big and I end up gaining a lot of money from game development, I want to at least kind of splurge a bit with gifts to my like parents and stuff, because yeah. And especially if I am to, for example, will hire voice actors for any of my games, even if it's just like very small voice lines. And I will probably like, it will probably be like a patch to the games after they're released, when I gain the revenue from from people purchasing the games and stuff, and possibly if I ever release merch, probably profits from that as well. I want to pay the voice actors well, which I'm not sure how much per line that would be kind of a minimum for payments. Probably something like $20 hooks per line. Which for me sounds a bit reasonable, because I'm paying for their skills and their expertise in voice acting, because obviously I can't voice all my characters myself. I don't have much of a vocal range to kind of make masculine or feminine voices. I can write and design characters, but I can't voice them. And if you understand my kind of issue here. I don't know if any of my friends would really be interested in voice acting. I don't know if any of my... And to be fair, I don't really have a lot of friends. So asking a friend is like... if I have friends. And... however, what I can do is basically just ask my friends. It's like, hey, I have a question for something I'm writing, or something or a game I'm developing. And especially because some of my classmates, it's in the program that I was in, are Filipino, and for Harvespel, I have a Filipino character. Well, technically not Filipino, but the culture she's from is heavily inspired by the Philippines, and we have a high Filipino population in where I live, because a lot of people are like Navy families. They kind of move around a lot, and we have a bunch of bases, like naval bases, is for like people to live on, which is the main reason why, at least in my area, a lot of people are, Filipino, and it's kind of why I'm somewhat interested in Filipino culture, but mostly when it comes to like foods, it's like pandesal, and yeah. for those sorts of things that I know that at least it's one person that I know can at least be able to answer that question. Also, my hair is being weird. But again. But if I know it's a question that I can ask one of my Filipino friends or mutuals on like fucking Instagram, because I don't have Snapchat to really ask them any questions. But I can like say, hey, I have a question and about Filipino culture, and I don't, and because I kind of know you already. Well, I don't really have much of a community. Yeah, I am getting close to 100 followers, but I don't know how many are, how many of y'all are, international. Like, non-US, or if you are from the US, if you're, like, from a place that's from it's kind of hard to explain. My reasonings and stuff of here. Yeah. But especially if I, like, want to research, like, food from different cultures. If it's, like, Filipino food, I can just ask. But I'll probably, like, ask them if it's okay if I ask them that question and beforehand. And because, yeah. But yeah, especially if my, community grows, especially if there's a bunch of non-US people. I'm pretty sure there's like a decent chunk of y'all who aren't from the US. It's just like you, Apple, for example. Well, I can like probably ask something like, is there because one of the games I plan on making is a farming sim, cough cough, harvest spell, cough cough, and I plan on like having some lesser known crops and foods and stuff in the game. I can probably like ask my community, hey, I guess those who are, it's very kind of food or crop or something that you don't really see a lot in the game, in farming sim games and such that you want to, have it in Harvest Spell. Oh, South Africa. Interesting. But yeah, if I can probably like Especially once my Discord is set up finally, because the reaction rolls are... I have no idea how to do reaction rolls right now, which is something I'm gonna have to figure out. Once that kind of happens, I can probably like ask y'all, hey, is there a food or a crop that you want me to implement into Harvest Spell? Oh, because I kind of want to show some more obscure or more cultural things from different parts of the world. I do have dragon fruit, huh? I'll consider it because I will have to like look it up first. Like where does it grow? Oh, and during which seasons does it grow? Oh, or if you have to only grow it in like a greenhouse. It's depending on the environment. Because that kind of has to... that influences how dragon fruit will be implemented into the game. Okay, that's not dark enough. That looks good. Click to layer. Do I have an airbrush tool that I can really use? A little more red. Oh, there we go. Turn the saturation up, the opacity down. So I can't lock transparent pixels, line, color. So if I like do that. Now the good old rendering. Oh. June through September. So a summer crop. Okay, I understand now. At least a little bit. Of course, I will have to look it up a little later. So I can, like, understand it a little more. This a little more red, and then color the lips. Line color, clip to layer below. I'm gonna drink some more water. Oh, there are some of the... Hold on. Is this the right color? Okay, no, that's not it. Ah. So, move that to purple, turn that down. Yeah. Hello, Surya. Her IQ 884. I mean, you know, I do like pink, but purple is my favorite color. And if it's not yours, then... And it's not your favorite color. It kind of just depends on your personal preference. I mean, I'm kind of a purple maniac. If it isn't obvious by, like, everything about my model and overlay.
Emotional damage.
Thank you for the emotional damage. Okay, gotta fix some of these scragglers. And this is done. Save as. Use this. Then save as PNG. And now we gotta thank you for the crab rave. But first, our window. Now we have to pick the other person to cheese because we're doing 2. I usually do 2 who in a single stream. However, I'm going to wait a little bit. I need to walk around a little bit. And I've been sitting for like nearly 2 hours. I need to walk around. But I'm going to make that, canvas first. Wait, no. I'm going to ignore that. But yeah, I will be back. Like, I'm gonna mute for a moment and kind of stretch my legs. Be right back. I'm back, everybody. And the wheel thing was a fluke, so I'm going to do it again. 3, 2, 1. Oh! That was just... Well! Oh well. Guess we gotta do the French. The French. Guess I'm choosing the French this time. I'm gonna do this expression because it's the funniest one. And remove. And show that. Hide that. It picked the French man. French cheese! Why the Joker? Why the Joker? Yeah. Just because. Hold on. Wait, no. Chat containment unit. There we go. I'm going with blue this time. And of course the chibi. I'm just going to use this expression because it's the most fun. Are you banging against the door, Sabu Wabu? Do you want to go? Hold on, my cat wants to escape. Hold on. Here we go. There she goes. She wasn't sure if she wanted out or not. But you still can! From what? From what? From the French? I mean, you can mine a completely whole new kind of horror with the Joker. Or if you put an actor in like the brightest purple suit you can find, and let him mine a completely different horror. I forgot which actor specifically, but you can probably like find a new fear here with that head interpretation. So making the head less bulbous, less egg, because this isn't about egging, this is about cheese. It kind of depends. prefer either of them. I mean, I definitely do not like the taste of coffee. However, that's kind of a personal thing with my taste buds. But I've had tea. Yeah, like a steampunk event at a library. And it just tastes, and part of it was he had tea. Anyway, but during that time we tried tea for the first time. Well, at least for me it was my first. I took a sip of it. I don't remember which one it was. It just tasted like water. I didn't really get any of the tea, just the water. Which sucks. But yeah, I've had coffee, I've had tea. I don't really like either of them, but I know I definitely do not enjoy the coffee. I honestly prefer apple juice, just to be honest. But yeah, water is one of the few things I can drink. Like, because I'm, autistic. Because of autisms. The autisms. Sometimes I have sensory issues with a lot of things. Especially carbonated beverages. Like, it just registers as spicy to me, because I tried to try ramen, and the carbonation was just like a big no for me. So I won't really be able to, enjoy ramen unless it's like decarbonated or like flat. And I'm not, because the texture of carbonated beverages is just so unappealing to my taste buds. It's just like to be fair, I have a geographic tongue, and I kind of have the burn scars from like Starbucks, hot chocolate, because it's like so fucking hot that it burns the tip of my tongue. So I usually have to order it with warm milk so that I can at least eat it drink it right away. Oh, he has ears. But yeah. Yeah, it's 4 years. Oh god. But yeah, I just avoid carbonated beverages. And also, I avoid carbonated shit because it just doesn't sit well with my tongue. Which is kind of funny because I'm more willing to try different kinds of meats nowadays than I am with drinks. Things to try. Because of, I'd rather not experience the spiciness of carbonation again. Yeah, his hair is very complex. I tried wild boar last night, and I did not really like it. But I've had duck, bison, venison, aka deer. And hold on. So I've had venison and bison meat, and last night I had a wild boar, which was not really a hit. It tasted bad. Even with ketchup, it tasted bad. And I could only eat like one little part of the sausage. And before I was just like, no, I'm not having any more. But yeah, my dad didn't really like it either. So it was a miss. Oh, that's the eraser. I haven't been to Japan. I haven't even been outside of my... I haven't even been outside of the continental US. But I do want to go to Japan. And sometime in the future, but I will have to figure out, like, ways to communicate if hate that aren't, like, you know, completely verbal. Yeah. I mean, especially if I, you know, have, like, an asthma attack in the middle of a subway. I will have to figure out a way to communicate. Hey, my lungs are horrible and I might have a medical emergency in the least convenient place. However, knowing me, I might, like, need a guide. Also, hello, Annie Isbay. Hey, how are you? But yeah. I mean, I do plan on going abroad. Probably to, like, Ireland at the very least. Because the main language there is English, so I can kind of at least have a chance of communicating. And hey, I have a bunch of invisible disabilities, and I might have an asthma attack. Like, especially if the air is bad. Or just generally not have a good time. But kind of, apparently, especially in, like, the UK and such, in, like, the UK and the EU. Yeah. But what if you can't really speak without, like, coughing a whole bunch? But luckily there are alternate forms of communication that aren't just verbal, which involve. I could learn sign language, but I could always just have, like, communication cards on me. Okay, those are probably his shoulders. But yeah, I took Japanese for 4 years. I don't remember much from it though, because as I graduated high school last year, and I haven't had the chance to take any classes in Japanese since then. But yeah, if I ever go abroad, I'm probably gonna end up in, like, Ireland first, because I have ancestry there. I am predominantly Irish and German in terms of, like, where I know my ancestors came from. That and Norway. So yeah, I am very white. Which kind of explains my non-existent spice tolerance. But yeah. I mean, there are, like, channels that kind of, like, explain and stuff, like phrases and stuff. Like, there's one channel I'm subscribed to who mostly does YouTube shorts like where it starts off with what Google Translate has for a certain phrase, and then she's just like this is not something we say. Here are the phrases that we use for this English phrase. But yeah. I mean, I did have kind of a terrifying Japanese teacher. But yeah. Especially if you... Well... I mean, one of my classmates back in my senior year, I was doing art foundations, and one of my classmates at my table, well, he wanted to take Japanese, but his mom was terrified of her. And here's the thing, both of them are Asian, and just an Asian mom terrified of another Asian mom. Which, to be fair, she is very scary and very strict. I mean, I did cry several times during that class, during my 4 years of that class. That's because dysphoria, rejection-sensitive dysphoria, is not fun. So yeah. Now let's vector. Letter 1. But yeah, she is very formidable. Like, she is very strict. And will be very open about... She was very open about expressing any possible disappointment. But she did it because she genuinely wanted to help us learn in the best way that he could teach us. It's like, she did a lot of performance-based assessments, is where we had to like write or speak and such, so that we could learn how to write the kanji and hiragana and katakana, and also learn how to pronounce everything incorrectly. Yeah, so that if we ever like are conversing in Japanese, that it won't be like super hard. Yeah, there is a lot indeed. I mean, she was a very good teacher. If she didn't do those performance-based assessments, I'm not sure how good I would be at pronouncing everything in Japanese, especially compared to when I took Spanish. because I don't think my Spanish class really did those PBAs. And to be fair, the PBAs kind of helps me a lot now in hindsight, because especially now as someone who streams and I have to like talk with my audience and engage because streams are kind of interactive. If I had to, of course, it kind of helps that I at least had practice with like making videos. There's an open shot for you know, learn for Japanese. Especially if I like make videos now. And it helped with my senior project presentation as well, because I didn't do a traditional presentation. And I made a video because I don't like public speaking. It's easier for me to convey my thoughts when they are in a video where I can like have a script, and I did it in a way where I drew a few sprites of myself. Like, yeah. Because of my experience with those PBA, with the performance-based assessments, especially those that involved making videos, it helped when I made that presentation. Yeah, and you can edit it too. And, yeah. But, here's the thing. I had plans to learn Japanese since I was in elementary school. When I started watching anime in 5th grade. Yes, I was a bit of a weeb back then. I was a nerd. And in middle school, every single time I would apply for exploratory Japanese. Yeah, that young. Which makes it weirder because I watched Tokyo Ghoul. But this was around the time I started, having periods. And so the gore and blood did not really faze me at the time. Because I was just like, whatever. Or about the blood. But yeah, I was pretty young when I started getting into anime. But I haven't really watched a lot of anime since like 8th grade. I should probably get back into watching anime again. Because there's a few anime that I really want to watch, like Demon Slayer and such. But probably once I have like time to like sit down and watch anime. Wait, no. Not folder. But yeah, I've watched a lot of anime when I was a kid, even some that were a little more adult in terms of themes and stuff. Like, not like a whole bunch of like super explicit things, but I did watch stuff that was like TV-14 at the age of like 12. No, not that. Some of the anime I watched were pretty tame, but I did watch Hyperdimension Neptunia. But yeah, it did not really faze me. And I did watch some of the Revolutionary Girl Utena. I have not finished it though, and recently I've been having a bunch of Utena hidden pins on my Pinterest come up in my feed, which is probably a sign that I should finish it, or like start off from the beginning because I've forgotten all of it. I watched it on Hulu. Which it's kind of funny because I plan on getting back into watching anime again. And in like high school, I mostly just read manga in high school. Which did include the Tokyo Ghoul manga, not Tokyo Ghoul Re. Rebirth. I mean, because I haven't watched or read Tokyo Ghoul RE. Like, at all. Oh, but I probably should. I mean, I'm 19, coming on 20. I can watch it. I can watch it now. Oh, still. Oh, what's that? People being like too concerned. But yeah. there was an ant on my arm. Hold on, I'm going to import the cheese. I'll use this one. Let's clean up this line art. Make sure there's no like intersecting lines. Yeah. I mean, I have been drawing for like 5 years. Well, kind of like 7 years now. I'm gonna be right back. Like, I gotta check on something.
gets more difficult as it continues. The 20-meter pacer test will begin in 30 seconds. Line up at the start. The running speed starts slowly, but gets faster each minute after you hear this signal. A single lap should be completed each time you hear this sound. Remember to run in a straight line, and run as long as possible. The second time you fail to complete a lap before the sound, your test is over. The test will begin on the
You
word
seriously did that.
mark.
You
Get
did the
ready.
full fitness grid pacer test. While I was gone. Oh God. What will I ever do with y'all? Sorry, I just had to text my mom. Okay. And the little intersecting lines. Okay, there's an actual color palette here. Good. I'm gonna color pick from the block though. Color. There we go. There's a little bit of a gradient, and I'm going to pick this color. On the cheese hat. Well, I do have a cheese hat asset. I haven't really uploaded it to anywhere other than a few Discord servers that I'm in because I plan on setting up a Ko-fi first. I'm gonna turn off the lock layer. Okay. there's a skin tone. Nice. But yeah, I plan on like signing up for Ko-fi, and I can like place some of the assets that I've created onto Ko-fi in case y'all have to like send money over. Okay, that just looks like a pattern. Okay, yeah, that is a very faint pattern. I see it now. Yeah. We also need to do the inside. I should probably do the ears. It depends. Fan art is kind of like self-indulgent in a way. If you draw it, it's kind of for yourself, unless it's like a commission. And for, you know, something or someone. Okay. But it kind of depends. Like, especially if I'm like being paid to draw like to the people, well, or just a character from a series. I'll probably accept it, especially if the money is, you know, good, and especially if the character, for example, is voiced and the voice actor commissions me, as long as it's, you know, something I can, you know, draw, because I do have things that I can't draw. I mean, all artists have things that they can't draw. Well, or things that they won't draw. Whether it's for, like, personal reasons, or just kind of, like, they don't think or know they won't be able to draw it well enough to both their and the client's satisfaction. I mean, art is very nuanced. There's many things, and especially because, you know, unfortunately, AI art is getting even more prevalent now. Oh, and it makes it harder to figure out how if an artist is an actual artist, which very much sucks. But that just makes whenever you find an artist who, you know, is an actual artist and doesn't just use is an algorithm, you know, to make the art or the quote-unquote art hurt because, yeah. Unfortunately, this is hella nuanced. Like, there's so many things like copyright and stuff because a lot of artists, a lot of the art that was fed into these algorithms, the artists did not consent for their art to be put in the algorithm in the first place. Like, at all. Done without their knowledge. They knew nothing about it. Which is a yikes. But yeah, I know. But unfortunately, a lot of companies, because of the rise of AI, they think, well, it's cheaper than hiring an artist. However, for now, hopefully at least in the US, as we can make it, hopefully there will be legislation that will make it so that you can't copyright AI work. Like, ideally, anything that, if any of the process of making the art involves AI, excluding, like, art prompts, like a written prompt for something to draw, as long as the art was made by a person, and it can be copyrighted. And if not, too bad, can't copyright that shit. Which, yeah. I mean, if something is, like, made by an algorithm, it misses that human touch. Like, for example, well, I believe that AI should only be used for, like, making a kind of outline. Like, a written concept. Like, for example, ChatGPT. You should not be using that kind of AI like that to literally write a whole entire book. Like, just no. However, if you are trying to make an outline for, like, story beats, these are like what will happen in, like, in this point, what will happen in this chapter, and how will it affect the rest of the story. Yeah, that is where you can use AI. However, if you're using it for, like, the entire process, then you're a bit of a douche. Because you're kind of taking away from the human aspect, and human aspects are how things like Arcane, shows like Arcane are made. Like, you kind of, if you want to make something new, you can't use an AI. AI work on algorithms. And if you try to, like, make something completely new, you won't get a good result with AI. You have to use, like, you know, human work. You have to have that human touch. And especially if you're, for example, writing a story that involves, you know, disabilities, or he's like, if any of the characters are disabled. And especially since AI art is a bit racist. A lot of the time with AI art, they will like make skin tones lighter. And unfortunately, that's kind of based on like what the algorithm is fed. And if there's a bunch of art that involves people with light skin in it, and if you try to make like a character of color, they will kind of like, yeah, it does what it's programmed to do, but that doesn't mean that it's good. Like, I mean, sometimes AI can be good, but only in like specific circumstances that aren't like taking away from the jobs of actual people, like taking away the livelihood of artists and writers and actors now, especially voice actors. There's now, which is it kind of just is icky. I should probably do the ears. I mean, it's probably just my bias as an artist. That kind of leads to my opinion. But I feel like AI will... I mean, apparently ChatGPT is like super expensive to maintain, like 700k a day to maintain, ain't it? Which honestly just means that eventually the cost of running ChatGPT will be too high to maintain, and then they'll shut it down. Which honestly, yeah. I mean, and yeah, it costs that's a lot of money. Imagine, you could, if you gained that amount of money in a day, you could easily put a down payment on like a decent sized house, because economy. And especially, yeah. And especially as like a writer or myself, of the skill of a human is, you know, when it comes to like creative processes, is irreplaceable. Well, if you try to replace a human, you know, with an algorithm, you're not gonna get the best results. Well, it's only when you have the human touch, like the, if there's no human contributing to your story, yeah. But and I'd like to, at least in my creative processes, I like it to just be me. He just only have like it be a human process. But yeah, it kind of just depends. But anyway, let's just focus on, you know, the art this time. Don't want to get like too deep into this discussion because as I have my opinion and already set, but based on my experience as an artist, and yeah. I'm glad you understand, Alpha Wolf. Because yeah. And how the skin tone, and the reason why the skin tone is last is because if I did the skin first, it might be considered something against TOS, and I'd rather not get bonked by a Twitch. I mean, if there's too much of a skin tone, and it might be considered something that is, you know, more adult in terms of content, and therefore I'd get banned, and unless I am able to like dispute it, like I'm an artist, I was drawing the skin tone of this character, or if they don't think that's a suitable enough explanation, I might be like permanently banned from making content on this platform, which would suck. And I'd rather not have that happen to me, because I'm kind of not really sure about what I'd be able to really do about it. But yeah, because of that the skin tone is the thing that comes last, as in order to like prevent any possible bonking by the algorithm, and more by TOS, as making a mistake. Yeah, it is kind of sad. But it is understandable. Well, it's there for a reason, and sometimes there might be mistakes, but at least it's there with good intentions in order to prevent some unsavory things happening into the platform, to and on the platform. Which is very understandable. But unfortunately, mistakes will happen. And unfortunately, the consequences are very much real. Well, especially for artists. But yeah. And now, shading. Oh god, it's 5 p.m. already. In my time zone, oh god. To be fair, I did start. This isn't my traditional whole. I usually don't start my streams at 2 p.m. Or 3 p.m. But I have to now because it's kind of like the best in-between period between when my morning classes start and my afternoon classes start. And then, yeah. But yeah. Especially when time zones are, concerned. Like, as a college student. Hold on, I have my schedule. So, because luckily my afternoon classes have not started yet. That's the main reason why I'm even streaming right now. It's because that class that happens in the afternoon does not happen until October. And it starts at 1:30, which before my my summer break ended, my stream started at 1 p.m. EST. And therefore, in order to kind of adapt to like college, so I can at least maintain a good sleeping schedule or some semblance of it, like a consistent time to wake up and go to bed and stuff. If I have to make sure my stream schedule is kind of in between those times, in order to make sure that I can, you know, keep myself awake. And yeah. Does it suck? Yes. However, in order to keep myself from like not being too tired when I'm like in the middle of class, I have to adapt my streaming schedules for whenever I stream. In fact, after like October starts, I might stream on the weekends because my afternoon class is on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Halloween is on a Tuesday. Yep, a Tuesday. So yeah, luckily that class ends near about 4 p.m. But if I do end up streaming, it'll probably be like super late for me, and even then, and I literally have to, like 2 days after her Halloween, and I have a convention that I'm working at as staff, so I literally have to be there 2 days later in order to help set up everything, and for like you know, see if everything is going well, like helping in the, you know, yeah. I am a very busy girl. I'm a busy girly. However, luckily, once December comes around, and before the first week of December, like around the time the first week of December ends, the first half of my classes will end as well. Then on the 15th, my second half of classes end, which means I will have time to animate my VTuber, her avatar, in Live 2D. Yeah, and kind of just generally prepare for my debut. But yeah. But I am finally in the home stretch. At least when it comes to the model. The debut presentation is... I have to, like, make some PNGs for, like, designs to have throughout the streams and stuff. But yeah, hopefully, if the timing goes well, I'll be able to like have my debut shortly after, sometime after my 20th birthday. Okay, which will be good because I've kind of had a soft debut. Basically, a debut where I didn't have a traditional debut. This is who I am, what I like and stuff. I never really had that yet, but I will. And it will probably happen once I, apply for affiliate and stuff, because I'm getting close. However, because I'm going to pretty much be inactive for like 2 months, like 2.5 months of inactivity, except for like weekend streams, seems I won't really be able to like make content. Except for like random art shitposts that's on Twitter. But yeah, that's kind of what happens when you're balancing college and being a content creator. Of course, thank you for the follow. Go on Twitter. But yeah. But anyway, because it's going to be hard to like manage being a content creator and being a student, and generally I kind of just go on a hiatus during the school year. But luckily, once I transfer and graduate with my major, I should be able to, stream way more often than during the whole year. I mean, I do have plans to, like, get to affiliate at least before I transfer to a university and start my 4-year. Well, technically I am in a 4-year, but I'll have to figure out a college to transfer to first, just so that I can, complete my major. Wait, no, not log player. Transparent pixels. But yeah, just a lot of things to do. But luckily, only like half of. I'm pretty sure only one of my classes is like art related, like where I have to like draw you know, for her assignments. Well, technically it doesn't really involve drawing, it just involves a lot of HTML because it's interactive design. I'm gonna merge these two. But yeah. Hopefully I'll be able to graduate from university on schedule. Without too much complications or having to repeat any classes. Oh, the music has ended. Let's start it over again. But yeah. Line color. Yeah, I need all the look that I can get. Wait, no. What I meant to do was clip to the layer below. But yeah. I'm gonna make this a little darker. So that I can, you know, see it when I color my line art. But yeah, it's also ragweed season, so hopefully because I am, you know, in the middle of my semester, hopefully I won't be vibe checked too hard by my allergies. During this semester, because I'm getting closer and closer to being halfway through the semester every day. Like October or probably November is like the home stretch, the halfway point, you know? And once I am, you know, done with my classes, I'll be able to make more content for y'all. Yeah, it will be great. Which means potential for like more content and more people who, you know, enjoy the content. And the fact is during the school, once school starts in like the West, like around this time of the year, viewership it will drop especially if you like cater to kids, kids or like teenagers, because your content will kind of drop. Like the amount of viewers you get will drop for like a few months, and will probably spike back up during like breaks. But generally, that's kind of a bit of a dry spell. And for those who cater to older audiences, like a lot of VTubers do, who if some of your viewers are, people who work in education, they won't be able to attend your streams as often because, they're working with the kiddos. Because they can't really join in the streams, especially if the streams happen while they're, teaching. It's kind of just pick your poison, and any poison. But yeah. I'm out of water. I'll be right back. I shall grab another. I've acquired my water, but yeah. Streaming class with the kids. I mean, if the content creator is, someone who does who's kind of catering to the older people, like those who are, adults, that's a bad idea. But yeah. But yeah, now I can color in the eyelids without it looking too close to the sclera color. I mean, I could have made the sclera lighter in color, but eh. color. Darker, and we have the color for the lips. Wrong color. So that's on it. Here you go. I didn't even sneeze off a wolf. The counter is for whenever I sneeze. I mean, to be fair though, I have sneezed a decent bit during streams. So yeah. I just wait until I, actually sneeze and add to the cheese counter. Wait, no, not the cheese. The sneeze counter. Pretty good. And I think this is pretty much done. Turn off the paper layer. Save as PNG. Thank you for the crab rave. But yeah, I'm going to end this stream here. I will be here tomorrow with Witch Spring 3 Refined, the story of Irudi. And yeah, I'll be seeing y'all tomorrow at 2 p.m. EST or earlier. Or it kind of depends. But I'll be seeing y'all later. Bye, everyone!